It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, December 12th. How are you? It is so cold, you guys, here in LA. Well, it's gorgeous during the day, but in the mornings, this morning when I went to hot yoga, it was in the 40s and I walked there. And then when I walked home, I think I froze because it's hot yoga. And you know what happens with hot yoga is that you get sweaty and then your clothes are wet. And then walking home in the freezing cold, I think I turned into a popsicle. So I'm joining the ranks of all of you guys that are living in different cities across the United States, in your cold towns. I see it in the comments. Some of you guys are on the East Coast. Some of you guys are in, the South. It's getting chilly. We're getting closer to Christmas break. We're on the sixth. I can't say that well. Sixth night of Hanukkah tonight. I am done with buying presents for my kids, but I still am going. We used to not do no, I'm going to lie. Growing up, I never did 8 nights. Like I never got 8 nights of presents. Then when my kids were born, because they also get Christmas and Christmas is like such a big event, I thought to myself, let me, hook them up with some little gifts here and there every single night. So I did it like very cute. I was very on it. Okay. I did like night 1 was like a book. Night 2 was a pajama. Night 3 was a toy, like very small. It's gotten out of control. Life has gotten out of control. Like night 1 was at my mom's house. And so the kids were getting like huge gifts. And then night 2 was our first night giving them gifts. So it was like huge. I need to take a break. I need to literally get, my computer agrees with me. I need to get an intervention on purchasing gifts for my spoiled kids. Okay. 3 more nights. So, because of you guys, I watched The Bear last night. I watched The Bear. We watched season 1, episode 7 or 6. I can't remember. So what happened was Lance and I got into the show, or we watched season 1, episode 1 a few months ago. And immediately we liked it, but it was a little much. And we never watched episode 2. And then a couple months ago, I told him, I said, everyone's telling us to watch The Bear. So we got back into it. Season 1, episode 2. And we watched like 4 or 5 episodes over the course of a couple days. Obviously, we were really into it. And then I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened, but does that ever happen to you guys where a show will just like fall off? So last night I said, listen, the dosers are telling me to watch The Bear. So we watched, and I like that they're shorter episodes because I'm so freaking tired at night. Andrew says, imagine my surprise realizing The Bear wasn't about a big, hairy gay. Yeah, for some reason, I feel like The Bear being about a restaurant and Jeremy Allen White is just making it a little bit more appealing for Lance and I to watch as a couple, but thank you, Andrew. It's a good show. It's a really good show. But I don't know if you guys are like me right now, if you're early risers or late morning people. I'm an early riser. Always have been, but really I have to be with young kids that I have to get on the bus by 7:15. I am up so early in the morning. I cannot stay awake at night. Like I can hardly watch The Real Housewives at night. In fact, you guys know that I always complain that I'm on the West Coast and I always have to watch shows on the West Coast hours. And it's really, really hard because sometimes I want to watch What Happens Live or whatever, but that's on at 10 o'clock at night and I'm passed out by then. So I actually subscribed to Sling TV on like a month trial or whatever to see if that was going to help, because Sling TV, I learned from Kiki at the Talk of Shame, I learned that you can watch anything on the West Coast. You can watch it East Coast time. So with Sling TV, and this is not an ad at all, but I'm trying it to see if that will help so that I can watch, a Real Housewives episode at like 6 or 7. And then I cannot have to like spend my entire morning trying to catch up like I do every morning. Okay. So first, before we get into today's stories, we've got a bunch of them. Today's episode is sponsored by Babbel. Did you know that bilinguals outperform monolinguals? Are you a monolingual or a bilingual in tasks requiring working memory? That means Babbel isn't just a language learning app. It's a tool for sharpening your brain's ability to hold and process information. This winter, start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks with Babbel. And why do you want to use Babbel? Because it works. There's so many other apps and processes out there, but Babbel is different than a private tutor. It's different than just like a game. Um, a lot of kids like to play certain apps to learn languages because it's very much like a game, but they're not actually learning. So Babbel has quick 10-minute lessons that are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's designed for real people, by real people for real conversations. All of Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable, accessible, rooted in real life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching. You know what's so funny? I wonder if Babbel has included the word Riz, because yesterday I saw something with Katie Couric. Katie Couric announced on her Instagram that the Oxford Dictionary's new word of the year, Oxford Dictionary always does a word, is Riz, which a lot of us didn't really know what that was until Golden Bachelor Gary, our fave, explained that, hello, Teresa, I have Riz. I was told I have Riz. Riz is short for charisma. So I wonder how you say Riz in Spanish. We're going to have to go check it out on Babbel. So here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription only for our listeners at babbel.com/bowling. That's BABBEL.com/bowling. 55% off at babbel.com/bowling. Rules and restrictions may apply. All right. Now that we're all, multilingual people, and we will, or bilingual or trilingual, La Riz. Oh my God, that's so funny. La Riz. Aw. I just saw a comment here on the YouTube live comments from Sarah that says, I finally caught you live. My grandma just died and I had to be her hospice nurse plus planned funeral. I feel so sad. However, your show helps me check out. Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss. I also just lost my grandma. If you've been following the show, right after the attacks in Israel in October, she was in Israel. And it was really, really sad and hard to go through that. But especially since you were really taking care of her, I can only imagine how hard that is. But this is the goal for Daily Dose of Donna, is to get you to check out of your normal life, which is filled with stress and, drama and trauma and financial struggles and frustrating parenting situations and relationship challenges and work annoyances. And it's to come here and just laugh a little and have fun for a little. So I hope I'm doing that for you. Thank you, Sarah. And I appreciate you. And I'm thinking about you. Okay, you guys, we got some stories. Today. We're going to start with the first one that kind of popped up everywhere right after I got off my show yesterday. And that was the Kathy Hilton Christmas party. While I was recording my show, Kathy and Kyle and all of them posted pictures from their Christmas party. And of course, what everyone was freaking out about was the idea of Morgan Wade. So as we know, Morgan Wade and Kyle Richards are very close. And Kyle Richards has recently announced that she and Mauricio are definitely split. They're co-parenting very well, it looks like. They spent Thanksgiving together. They'll probably spend Christmas together. They still live in the same house. As far as we know, it's a massive, massive home. And they are also, like, they went out to dinner with all their kids. They're very close. So it seems like they have a really good co-parenting, what's the word? Like copacetic friendship post marriage or as a separated couple. But in the meantime, she is very close with Morgan Wade. Their relationship has not been defined. I think we can deduce from everything we have heard, seen, and know about what's going on that there probably is some sort of more than just a friendship. But because it's not official, I won't, confirm or deny what I know. I just think they seemed really, really happy and really actually cute. I'll show you the picture here on the YouTube. It's everywhere. If you're on page 6 or if you're on Daily Mail, it's everywhere. We've got Kathy Hilton, we've got Morgan Wade in the middle, and then Kyle Richards, all three looking actually phenomenal. You guys, Kyle and Kathy's faces are the same now. If you take out the dark features, like, have you ever done this? Like where you kind of cover your eye and just cover like the black hair and the dark hair, or if you take Kathy and also do the same and like cover her hair, it's really crazy, you guys. They must be going to the same doctors, right? There's no way um there's no way that they're not going to the same doctors. Um but they have beautiful faces. Whatever they're doing, it's working. I mean, one thing I'm learning about rewatching season 1, Beverly Hills of season 1, episode 1 this last week with Zach Peter, and of course we're going to watch season 2, episode 2 this week. One thing I realize is that Kyle Richards has dramatically changed her looks, and she was pretty back then, and she is 10 times prettier in my opinion now. She is obviously, her body is banging. She's not drinking. She's working out. She's eating well, and she's probably feeling really good. And actually pretty admirable. Not gonna lie. Pretty admirable. She looks phenomenal. Morgan Wade looks really pretty, actually. If you look at her face, I personally can't do the tattoos myself. Like, I couldn't imagine being with someone that had the tattoos, but she has a very, very pretty face. And Kyle and Kathy Hilton looks amazing. So Kathy has this Christmas party. Morgan Wade is there. Everyone was tripping out over this because Kathy posted this picture, the three of them, as her homepage, like in the carousel on her Instagram. This was the main picture, which I think is really interesting. Kathy Hilton is a trip, you guys, because a lot of you guys know that she'll engage with you in your comments. She'll engage with you on your DMs. Like, if I talk about Kathy Hilton on my Instagram, she will comment on stuff. It's crazy. She's like very, very on Instagram. And I know that my friend Christina, her handle is Coca Macoca. And she said that yesterday Kathy not only was commenting in her comments, but then started following her. And like, she's very up in it. Kathy's not someone that like doesn't and well, she doesn't really understand Instagram because she'll like message like, someone call me. But she understands Instagram in the sense that she's on Instagram all day long. So yes, this was her home picture. And then the second picture was her and Tiffany Haddish, of all people. Then she had a couple pictures with some other women. Oh, like Rachel Zoe. She had a picture with Nikki Hilton, who looks just like Paris now. Picture with Paris, Nikki. Lots of Paris. Who's that? Bijou Phillips. Whoa, Bijou Phillips. Did I just like skip over this the first time I was looking? You guys know my whole deep dive on Danny Masterson and Bijou Phillips. Do you think Bijou Phillips has left Scientology? Or do you think, oh, this is so interesting, you guys. This picture is of this woman, Allison Melnick, who I cut out here, but look at Faye Resnick and Bijou Phillips. Like, what? Now, I know that Bijou and Paris used to be really tight. That's kind of how Bijou became in the world of young Hollywood. Ooh, I'm going to have to find out more about this. Then, of course, she has a picture of her and Sutton. So Sutton and Kyle were at the same Christmas party, and then some of the decor. Okay. So, oh my God. So, what do people take from this? She also went to, because Jeff Lewis yesterday on his show was talking about Jackie Schimmel's Hanukkah party with Jackie. And she said, Jeff mentioned that Fortune and her girlfriend wife Jax were there, and that Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade were there. And so we know that Kyle was at that party also with Morgan at Jackie's, and Kyle's daughters were also there. I don't know if all of them, but I know like Alexia and Sophia were there. Jackie said she loved them so much. I believe that Kyle's daughters and Kim Richards were also at Kathy Hilton's party. I don't know if they just didn't get pictures of everyone. But to me, it does feel, and I'm just going to go off intuition, it does feel that this is a hard launch of their relationship. You're going to Christmas parties and holiday parties and posing together. To me, it's what I think is happening is we are getting introduced slowly, more publicly to the idea that Kyle and Morgan are together, so that if and when it is announced, it's not like shocking to anyone anymore, right? Because there are a lot of people out there that are still like, there's no way. There's no way they're just friends. That's my guess. Without knowing like any goals here. This is just my guess. Now, I also find it very interesting. And timeline is very, up in the air here. But Kyle and Kathy Hilton have had a very tumultuous relationship over the last few years. We've seen it on the show. We knew it even before the show. We remember from when Kyle produced her American Woman, scripted show. Obviously, Kyle has a little bit of struggles with both Kim and Kathy for various reasons. We didn't fully understand, in my opinion, the Kathy and Kyle drama. Like, from what we knew, we would see her and Kim and why they would fight. Because I think now rewatching season 1, it's like so obvious. Kyle and Zach and I talk about the way Kyle treats Kim in that first episode. It's nuts. Go check it out on the Patreon if you guys want to, catch up on those recaps. But Kim and Kyle have a very, very challenging relationship. My guess is because Kyle always felt like she had to be the older sister, even though she wasn't. She always felt like she had to take care of Kim. She always felt like Kim was not up to speed or like not able to really kind of function or take care of herself on her own. Now, meanwhile, let me think. Meanwhile, Kim or Kathy and Kyle, their relationship was a little bit more confusing to me. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way. It felt a little bit like, why are we always arguing? I couldn't personally understand. I understand this last season with the tequila and the 818 tequila and then the Lisa Rinna and the meltdown in Aspen, but like, what was really happening? So my guess is that because of Mauricio and his challenges and his obvious major challenge with Rick, that's Kathy's husband, Rick Hilton, I think that was enough of a stick in the mud or enough of a line in the sand that was always going to be a challenge to get Kyle and Kathy to be very close. It was always going to be to kind of strenuous, because if a husband doesn't like a husband, or if a wife doesn't like her sister's husband, or whatever it is, it's going to set you up for challenges. It's very interesting that the second that Mauricio and Kyle separate, Kyle and Kathy are tight as ever, thick as thieves. And Kathy has done nothing but support and embrace and love on Morgan being part of Kyle's life. Like way more than we ever heard her talk about Teddy or any other ones of Kyle's friends, right? So that's just my guess. Just a little deep dive into what I'm thinking from one, holiday party. Tell me your thoughts. Okay, let's move on. In other crazy ass housewife news, I just have to bring this up because I saw it and I was like, you know what? It's a horrible idea, but actually it's an amazing idea. Jen Shah believes that Kim Kardashian should play her in her potential, do you say biopic or biopic? Biopic? I don't know. She wants Kim Kardashian to play her. Jen Shah has quite the life story to tell, and according to TMZ, she's hoping Kim Kardashian can tell it in a biopic. Biopic sounds like a biopsy. Talks of the on-screen venture emerged when Emma Stone kickstarted a campaign for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City stars biopic after the longtime Real Housewives fan was asked at the New York City premiere of Poor Things which housewife was worthy of the film treatment by the director. And, quickly he said, she said Kim Kardashian. Now, Chris Giovanni, this is interesting. Chris Giovanni is Jen's manager. He's also a few other housewives managers. And I know Chris Giovanni from back in the day, because he used to represent like actors that I used to audition. Jen quickly caught wind of the A-list backing, and her manager, Chris Giovanni, told TMZ she was freaking out over the phone with excitement when he called her in prison to tell her Friday. Chris tells us Jen acknowledged Emma's endorsement for the project as an honor, but when it comes to who she actually liked to play her, that would be Kim K. All right. Hey, Siri, how do you pronounce biopic? Okay, let's listen.
We are looking at how to pronounce this word in English, designating a biographical film.
Whoa, this is a crazy, crazy video.
Fictional or historic on the first syllable. On the how do you go about pronouncing this word? Biopic. You do want to stress
Biopic.
how to pronounce many words.
Biopic. Biopic. Okay. Interesting. I think it would be a great, great show. And Kim Kardashian's becoming quite the actress. So I don't think it's a bad idea. Did you guys see the story about Jennifer Aniston? So I freaking love Jennifer Aniston. And you know how much I loved Matthew Perry's memoir. I just read it or just listened to it like a few weeks ago. I thought it was so beautiful, so sad, so devastating. And basically, she's saying that she was texting with Jennifer Aniston has been interviewed right now. She's like going on a press tour for the morning show. So she was with Reese Witherspoon, and she revealed she was texting with Matthew Perry the day he died in her first interview since he died. She says that he was happy and healthy in the days ahead of his shocking death in late October. He had quit smoking. He was getting in shape. He was happy. That's all I know. A teary-eyed Aniston told Variety in an interview published Monday as her morning show co-star Reese Witherspoon held her hand. She says, I was literally texting with him that morning, funny Maddie. He was not in pain. He wasn't struggling. He was happy. She says, I want people to know he was really healthy and getting healthy. He was on a pursuit. He worked so hard. He really was dealt a tough one. I miss him dearly. We all do. Boy, he made us laugh very hard. His way of speaking created a whole different word. She told the trade publication, we went with his lead in a way. It just added something to our joy. Very, very sweet. That broke my heart. And then actually, Zac Efron got his Hollywood Walk of Fame star yesterday, and in Hollywood, and he had mentioned that Matthew Perry was like a huge part of his kind of push into the next chapter of his career. They were in that movie 17 again, which was kind of like a big movie, you know, like a switching. And he paid a touching tribute to him, saying the late actor was a catalyst in pushing him into the next chapter. At his Hollywood Walk of Fame unveiling ceremony Monday, Efron paid his respects to him, saying, I also really want to mention someone that is not here today, and that's Matthew Perry, who was so kind and generous with me when we worked on 17 again. Collaborating with him and director Burr Steers, it was so much fun. And it really did propel me and motivate me in so many ways. It really pushed me into the next chapter of my career. For that, thank you so much, Matthew. Thinking a lot about you today. So sad. So sad. I've been rewatching episodes of Friends. It's on, I want to say it's on Netflix. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So the last story before we get into our Real Housewives of Potomac thoughts is the lovely Drew Barrymore, who just, and I know this is going to be a touchy subject, no pun or pun intended. Drew Barrymore, I've talked about this many times on the show, has a style of interviewing which is unlike anything we've ever seen on a TV, interview. Not only does Drew get very kind of mushy and casual and cute and whatever, she literally has turned her show from like sitting on opposite sides of a couch to then taking off her shoes and like putting her feet up on the chair to then getting so close to her interviewees, to then starting to touch them on their hands, to then sitting on the floor right in front of their feet, to then like putting their arms all over. I mean, the next thing that's going to happen with Drew Barrymore on her show is that she's going to be in a body sweater. Like she's going to be in one of those onesies with her interviewee. They're going to be sitting on top of each other and not, absolutely not like connecting whatsoever. Like, I mean, she's going to be like, she's going to become one with her interviewee subject. Now, I will say a lot of you guys love Drew Barrymore and you think it's sweet and you think it's genuine and you think it's authentic and you think it's lovely. And I agree with that. I do actually think it is genuine and authentic. I do think that's who she is at her core. But I'm also wondering, Oprah was on her show and this caused quite a stir because in this interview, it's gotten to like a crazy place. I mean, hands are unwrapped and rubbing and touching, and maybe Oprah doesn't care. But I'm sorry. Like I have an issue with close talkers. I have an issue with, do you ever go to like, not only breath issues are a little bit concerning to me, but when I am in a space like at a party or an event or just talking to someone and we have to sit so close to each other, like even just imagine you're sitting at a bar, right? And if it's not Lance, if it's like someone else and you're sitting so close to each other that you're like, this is me and the microphone here is you. It's really intimate. I don't want to feel your hot breath on me. Okay. I'm also not like a super affectionate person. I'm working on it. But it would make me incredibly uncomfortable if on a live TV show where I'm opening up and talking about very personal things, but knowing that I'm on national TV and there's a live audience in the room and strangers everywhere and cameras, and you're going to be on top of me and like hold on to me and like embrace me and make me like see your pores. I'm going to feel the need to like back the F up. And then it's going to make me look bad. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I just think Drew Barrymore needs to respect boundaries in some capacity. And whether this is a shtick, I want to know if I get booked on a Drew Barrymore show, I need to find this out because one of my friends, Damona is Damona Hoffman. She has a radio show. She has a podcast. She's a well-versed author. She's like a matchmaker, a dating coach, and she's the love expert on Drew Barrymore. I need to ask her, is this something that when you get booked on Drew Barrymore, do you sign some sort of contract? Do you sign some sort of a contract and you say, hey, I am okay with touching? Like, is there a clause that says if you come on Drew Barrymore, just know your personal space will be invaded? Because seriously, I'm not joking. This can trigger a lot of people, especially in the age of, infectious diseases, viruses. It's cold and flu season. Just saying. I'm going to find out. Damona's going to be on my show actually, because she has a book coming out in December, I think. So she's going to be on my show. Okay. So anyway, what was I going to say? We're going to also bring up one more story because I forgot to write it down, but this just kind of popped up, is Scheana Shay. So yesterday, the Vanderpump Rules trailer was dropped and it was so good. And one of the big surprises of it was Scheana Shay was us finding out that Tom Schwartz at some point, we don't know when, we don't know timelines, made out with Scheana Shay a long time ago. Like we have no idea when, but a long time ago. Okay. In Vegas or something. He says, I was a makeout slut. I even made out with Scheana Shay. We don't know if Brock was around. We don't know if Katie was with him. Like I'm sure Katie was with him, but because I think that's how they met. Like since they've been together, that's it. Like, I don't think Scheana knew Tom Schwartz before Katie and him were together, but what's going on here? What is going on here? So a couple things have like popped up, like a quote that Scheana had when, in season 3, when one of her friends hooked up with Tom Schwartz, and she said like, I'm okay with it because I'm more friends with Tom than I am with Katie, and I'm not as much like of a girl's girl. I'm a guy's girl. Scheana said something along those lines. I'm misquoting it, but season 3. And I think that because she said that, I do feel like she's kind of shared who she is from the beginning. Now, Scheana is a friend to all. And when you're a friend to all, it's hard to say that you're a friend to anyone. And remember, yesterday, Ariana had said that Scheana is the biggest pot stirrer. Scheana is the one that kind of like stirs up the drama. So yesterday, Bravo TV posted Pump Rules is a big Instagram account, and they posted about the trailer, and the comments just berated Scheana, just like went in on her. And Sheena's comment is like, peace out, now I know why you, or like, thanks for keeping the narrative about how horrible I am or whatever. Okay. That being said, Scheana was on Bravo's, what is the podcast called? Because I'm a subscriber to it. It's a pay podcast. It's like a Patreon kind of thing. It's for Bravo TV, and it's called Bravo's Hot Mic, and it's hosted by Alex Baskin, who's the executive producer of Vanderpump, Beverly Hills, OC. And so in this episode, it just released this morning, so I haven't listened to it. Scheana Shay and Jeremiah Smith, Jeremiah is one of the producers, are on the show. And in the clip that's being widely circulated right now, Sheena's crying because she says, I don't know if Ariana realized that even though I wasn't cheated on, how hard that was for me. She basically is saying like it dealt her a huge blow. She was trying to parent and she was feeling betrayed. And I do believe that Scheana did get burned heavily in this, fallout because she was so close to Raquel and Rachel, and because she, hung out with Tom. She's been very close to Tom Sandoval forever, and also very close with Ariana. And it's like, it's a lot. But that's like so typical of Scheana making it about herself. I'm going to listen to the full podcast. I'll give you guys her whole thoughts. I just think Sheena's going to Scheana. Just like the worm's going to be warming. Ariana says that in the trailer tomorrow. And in the trailer yesterday, it's the best line. The worm is warming, she says. The worm is warming. Scheana Shay. Okay. Real Housewives of Potomac. I didn't get to watch it on Sunday night because of Hanukkah, but I watched it yesterday, and they are in Austin. So where we are on Real Housewives of Potomac, we've kind of moved on from the Wendy and the Nneka shrine talk, right? The Nigerian shrine talk. We've moved on from that. And now we're focusing a lot of energy on Robyn Dixon. So they are in Austin, and they are having what every other Real Housewives show is, which is basically an alcohol-fueled, fighting-fueled, food-fueled, silly activities-fueled event, right? And they're going out. And the first night they actually go out, and I was watching the show while I was showering. I don't know if you guys do this. I put my Bluetooth speakers on, and I have my phone like on the counter, and I'm listening in the shower, and I can see it through the glass because multitasking. And like, thank God my kids weren't anywhere near, because this show sometimes, these shows are not really good for kids anyway. But some of the episodes I can show my kids some parts. But when I tell you on this first dinner, the way that they're talking about swallowing or not swallowing, and then they go heavily into what they do in the bedroom. Okay. I'm not going to put it on you here because I want Daily Dose of Donna to be, for the most part, safe for kids. But wow, 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 wow. A little too much. Even thumbs up got here. A little too much for me. So we found out what Robyn likes to do in bed. We found out what all of them like to do in bed. And it is embarrassing, the fact that there are parents talking about this. Can you imagine? Can you imagine as a son watching your mom talk about that? I could die. Talk about it. Talk about it all you want, but maybe not on camera. Is that weird? Like, I've had those conversations many times with girlfriends, but knowing that my kids could watch it, like, whoa, it was a little TMI. In my opinion, call me a church-going woman. So then we go to, oh, this is genius. Bunny says she has a holder inside her shower for her phone, and she watches YouTube videos. That's a genius idea. I need to get one of those. But how do you make sure that the phone doesn't get wet? It's like stressful. Okay, I'm gonna think about that. So then the next day they have breakfast. They're supposed to do some sort of body drawing. We still didn't get to this activity because they're on such a schedule. It's such a housewife show. Like, we can tell that it was so produced because they had this activity where they had all these easels out and the women were in robes. I'm like, were we going to see some full body paintings here? It was kind of crazy. But we never got to that because the entire conversation was centered around Robyn. What is going on with you? Now, I will always hand it to the grand dame. Karen Huger, housewife extraordinaire. This woman knows how to keep the story moving. She knows how to keep the show going. She knows how to bring these two groups together. She straight up says, I understand that we're not all on the same page. Let's figure it out. But Robyn, you've told half the crew, but you haven't told us what's going on with your marriage. What's going on? And Robyn says, I am, I'm sticking with Juan. Now, I want them to leave Robyn alone about this. There's a difference between going to your friend in solidarity, in confidence, and holding her hand and saying, or like Drew Barrymore sitting on her lap and saying, Robyn, I'm worried about you. I'm worried about this relationship. I don't know if this is the right guy. There's that verse. Let's bring it up on camera again and again and again and again and again. And it's like, I feel bad for Robyn. Like, she has chosen to stick with him. Let's let it go, like Elsa. They end up missing this activity to draw each other's bodies. They go on over to split up. They go, half of them to a distillery, which they think is a winery, which they think is a brewery, but it's just a whiskey distillery. Also, my hell, I hate whiskey. I would not drink it. I would not. I don't like the taste. I don't like the smell. I don't like it. And then half of them go cowboy boot shopping. And I was convinced Kyle Richards was going to be there. I thought to myself, we're in Aspen and we're talking about cowboy boots and hats. Like, where's Kyle? Kyle's going to pop out of the bushes and say, name him. Oh, no, that's Sutton. So half of them go shopping, half of them go to a distillery. They all meet for lunch and they have a lovely lunch. It seems to be like a really nice, fun lunch. They actually made me laugh so hard because we had such a long conversation about Twitter. Karen Huger has a blue check on her Twitter, which we all know that when Elon Musk came into X, which is Twitter's former name, when okay, hold on. When Twitter turned into X, or before or whatever, Elon Musk made it so that you have to pay to get your blue check. And it was like, it subscribes to Twitter Blue. And I did it for a hot second when I was using Twitter often. Then I realized it's a waste of money for me because I didn't need all of those benefits. But if you're a celebrity, I understand why you would want to spend that money. But Karen was convinced that she had the blue check because she was verified. And it really is because she's subscribed. I thought it was just so funny. It was so relatable. This conversation about like, oh my God, you're subscribing. Look at your monthly amount. You're paying for this. So I thought that was funny. And then what ended up happening? Oh, yeah. So then at the end of that, during that lunch, they started talking about Juan's legal issues. That he is involved in some sort of legal issue having to do with some SA and some, the R word when it comes to bodies. I'm not going to say it here. And it really, really, again, they're going after Juan. Karen's taking like a personal issue to it because she is a SA survivor and she's part of a foundation, organization. So she's getting, it's personal for her. And I understand that everyone's triggered by certain things. But when they get in the car and they start driving, Robyn, for the first time that I've ever seen in a long ass time, she breaks down. And I can understand why. This has got to be very stressful for Robyn. Him like making out possibly with another woman or like buying a hotel room, that's all a lot too. But this is a whole different level. And she's like, I just don't understand how I'm the villain. And they kind of took care of her in the car. I know Mia was in the car. I can't remember who else, maybe Ashley. And then the episode ended. There's a part of me that understands that Robyn is turning a blind eye to her husband. There's a part of me that also understands it's no one else's business. Don't you guys think? I don't know. Beth says, I'm sorry, but no housewife can touch Candace's confessionals. Say what you want about her, but you just never know what is going to come out of her mouth. And it's funny. I am a Candace stan. I love Candace's looks, faces, words, voice, confessionals. I'm sorry. I did miss a couple of seasons of Potomac, like in the middle. So maybe I'm missing something big, but I freaking love Candace. I love Candace. And there was one scene with Ashley Darby doing some sort of TikTok dance, and the cameras were just filming her do this TikTok dance. And when I tell you, I felt a level of cringe that should not be felt in the human world, because I thought to myself, it's bad enough to see someone do a TikTok dance, but it's really bad that you're doing it as an adult with a camera crew watching you do the TikTok dance for your phone. I almost died. I was like, what are you doing? I just remember going on vacation with my niece, who's now like 15 or 14. So she was like 12 or 13 at the time. We were in Thailand. It was right before COVID. And she was TikToking all over the place. Her hands were going crazy. And she was like, you know, in the middle of like a restaurant, she would like knock out the waiter to do these dances and like sit her phone everywhere, on the van, on the bus, on the Sprinter van, in the boat, in the plane. And she looked like she had some sort of crazy, you know, physical condition that we had to like monitor her for. TikToking in public is not something, you know, that we should be proud of. Okay. Unless you're like, you know, a dancer, an official dancer, this feels a little bit like Desperado. It was embarrassing. She's like, was she drunk? I have to like really pay attention to why that dance happened. Why does Ashley feel the need? Ashley does remind me of a little bit of like, she's still a kid. Don't you get this feeling that Ashley kind of like hasn't fully grown up? But like, we need to start some sort of petition to like end TikToks in public. My son will do TikToks, and they're not as many dancing, but they're like facial expressions. The faces on TikTok, they've got to stop. That stank face, I can't even say the word with taking it seriously, but that stank face is illegal. Like, we need to put a ban on stank face. We need to put a ban on TikToks in public. We need to put a ban on now I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, but why? She was just having fun. I'm also just having fun. I'm not serious. Okay. I'm not going to the Supreme Court for a ban on stank face. I have bigger issues, you know, like we should put a ban on Robyn's eyebrows. Okay. Speaking of, a lot of you guys are ordering the Robyn's eyebrow mug. I'll bring mine tomorrow. It's still upstairs in my kitchen, but my merch is available. Don't forget, you guys, we got Sob and Robyn merch. We've got Absolutely merch. We've got Daily Doser. We've got In My Bravo Era. We've got founding member of the Bravo cult, sweaters, pants, mugs, cups, hats. I want to get phone cases. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. We're going to cover, of course, a Salt Lake City. And do we still have to talk about Winter House? I guess we will. And yeah, because Sam is coming to visit. And then, and more. And more. Bye, y'all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.